Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Plastic Free July 2025. Can't believe we're saying that date already. Webinar. It's lovely to have so many people on the call. I can't see very many faces. Please feel free to love you to put your name in the chat. Where you're from, if you're associated with an organization, or if and what city or country you're calling from. We're really looking forward to sharing our plans with you today for Plastic Free July this year. My name's Rebecca Prince-Ruiz, and I'm joined today by my colleagues Jess Bushby, who's our Office and Community Manager, and Amy O'Hare, who is our Head of Communications. And we're going to be sharing with you a bit of what we learned from last year, as well as what we've had planned for this year. I'd also like to shout out, we have our wonderful chair, Jeff Donahue, on the call. So thanks very much for joining us, Jeff. I'd like to start by paying my respects to elders past, present and emerging. We live on and work on Whadjuk Noongar Budja in Walyalup in Fremantle in Western Australia. So I always say this every year, and I mean it every year, but I really do think this is the most important plastic-free July ever. This is the 15th anniversary campaign, and last year was actually the biggest year ever in terms of numbers, and I'll explain a little bit more in a moment why I think it's the most important year. So we're going to share some of the evaluation from last year. We're going to share what we learnt and how that's influenced our thinking behind the campaign for this year. Amy's going to share with you the Plastic Free Pledge, which is an evolution of an initiative we've trialled for the last couple of years. And we're going to leave plenty of time for questions. It's great to see people from so many different countries as these names are being flashed up. I think there's people from working in terms of research. There's on plastics and human health. There's people that are retailers. There's people representing community groups, local governments. We've also just started a youth fellowship program for this year, and it's great to see some of our youth fellows from around the Asia Pacific region joining us today. I'm so proud of this campaign, not because of, I think my team does fantastic work, but this campaign is a global movement thanks to people like you. Many of you on the call I know have done Plastic Free July before. Some of you, it might be your first time, and welcome. And it really is testament to the hard work, creativity and passion from so many people from around the world. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you. And we'll get right into it. Oh my gosh, we even have people from Hawaii on the call. I'm going to catch up with all of these, with everyone's names when you're talking, Amy, because I can't read them as I'm talking here. So I'm just sharing with you my screen. Amy or Jess, can you just give me the heads up if you can see my screen? Yep, great. So, as I said, we're focusing on the Plastic Free Pledge. We're staying with our same theme that we've had for the last few years, which is small steps, big difference, because we're finding that that's really resonating with people, because this isn't about being plastic free. I've been trying this for 15 years and I'm still not perfect. It's impossible to live without single-use plastics. This isn't about being perfect. It's not about a small people that can do a few people doing everything. This is about lots of people making small change that adds up to make a big difference. one of the reasons I say this is the most important year is because just after July, the UN member states will be coming together again to hold the fifth, well, it's actually the fifth, it's 5.2, the final, what is hopefully the final negotiation sessions for a global treaty to end plastic pollution. And we feel like the more we amplify our voices, the more media coverage we're getting, the more we promote the critical importance of turning off the plastic problem at the tap, at reducing plastic production, um, at promoting reuse and refill and creating new social norms, then we can put pressure on business and government leaders, because a strong global plastics treaty is really critical. Next week, we're kicking off this several months of action with World Environment Day. The theme is Beat Plastic Pollution. So if you don't have a plan for the 5th of June, in taking the plastic-free pledge, encouraging people in your family, in your network, and in your workplace to take the pledge is a great thing to do. There's of course Plastic Free July, and we've got some interesting celebrations that people are starting to organise at the end of July. So all of this information, if you haven't seen it before, we'll be sending you out an email after this this webinar with lots of links, but it's all on our website, plasticfreejuly.org, and we'll send you those links. So sorry about the fine print here. Really, it's just for me to remember some of the numbers. So one of the critical things that we do each year is we ask people to take a survey, which has been designed by an independent behavioural economist. We ask people to take it in July. It's called the Pesky Plastics Quiz, and we'll put the link in the perhaps, Jess, if you can just pop the link in the chat, and we'll send it to you afterwards. And so we ask people about their consumer choices, about their behaviours, about their attitudes towards the plastics issue and policy. We ask people how many types of bins or garbage cans they have, how full they are, how often they're collected, and then we repeat that survey in September. So we measure the difference in terms of behaviour, waste creation, and attitudes, and that when I say we conduct the survey, that is actually we share the link and encourage people to take part. The survey is hosted independently and the results are collated independently. We've also been very fortunate in the last couple of years to have the global market research company Ipsos do a global study on awareness of Plastic Free July and then participation. And that's where we that's a really important survey, because we know from our research that less than 1% of people who take part formally sign up through registering at our website or engaging with social media. So last year, that survey found that 174 million people from those 30 countries took part. The top 7 countries globally in order of participation numbers were China, Indonesia, USA, Germany, India, United Kingdom, and Brazil. Now, for those of you who haven't met our team before, we're a very small team. We're based in Australia. Most of the resources and tools that we create are in English, yet this campaign is significantly bigger in other countries around the world and many non-English speaking countries. So for us, connecting with organisations and communities around the world is really important in terms of our strategy to better adapt our resources, and start to collect stories and solutions and ideas that reflect our participants. So collecting those stories and ideas and sharing those is what helps to inspire other people and create those new social norms and help people to find um, local solutions and sharing those place-based ideas is really important. We're really excited this year to be working with the CSIRO, our National Science Agency, in specifically in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia, developing some tools and resources there, as well as with our youth fellows across the Asia Pacific region. So we really need your help to collect and share those stories because we don't have all of the ideas, but together we have a lot of answers. The really important thing that this research is showing us that, and we've been doing this research now for 8 years, is the difference between participants in Plastic Free July and non-participants, because we also do general population surveys as well as researching at the behaviours of our and attitudes of our participants. But the difference between participants and non-participants in terms of attitudes, awareness, concern, and support for strong policy has significantly reduced. So there's not much difference. People across the board, whether they're taking part in Plastic Free July or not, are concerned about the plastic waste and plastic pollution issue. They want a cleaner environment. They want business to take responsibility. They want governments to legislate. They're supportive of single-use plastic bans. They're very supportive of better recycling, of extended producer responsibility, of a strong global treaty to end plastic pollution. What's different? The number one difference between participants and non-participants is behaviours. And so the role of this campaign, and I've just, you'll see the formatting's not great here, sorry, but I'm using, straight from the report of our behavioural scientist, and his language is because there's this, at a behavioural level, significant difference between participants and non-participants. What our advice is and what we do is really focus on targeting the vast majority of the population by keeping the campaign, in his words, normal and simple. So we are not an organisation targeting environmental activists or advocates or preaching to the converted. We're trying to appeal to a broad range of general public, and we focus on nudging action, so that how to change, not about shifting attitudes. This isn't an education or awareness raising campaign. I'm not saying that's not important, and that is the work of many fantastic organisations and not-for-profits around the world. But our focus and the real value of this campaign and the real difference that this campaign makes is about shifting action or nudging action. So what we do is we target behaviours that are becoming normalised, so that are already being done by 30 to 40% of the population, but still have a lot of potential for change. And I say this, bearing in mind that, in some countries, and jurisdictions and states, some of these items are already banned. In others, we don't all have the same options in terms of alternatives. So this is the broad behaviours that we're targeting through the campaign. So it's bottled soft drinks and bottled water, avoiding pre-packaged produce, helping people choose to refuse plastic straws, avoiding that plastic food wrap and avoiding single-use coffee cups. And small steps do add up to make a big difference. So last year, on average, participants reduced sick, and we're measuring at-home behaviours, not out and about or at work, 16 kilograms of household waste and recycling, which together added up to 390 million kilos of plastic. This isn't plastic that went from a landfill bin to a recycling bin. This is plastic that was avoided. And overall, I didn't put the figure up there, but it's over 2 billion kilos of total waste. And we know that this is more than the 10 biggest cleanups around the world combined. And one of the reasons that we are run initiatives like the Plastic Free Pledge is because for us, success is like an empty bin or an empty trash can. It's waste that wasn't created in the first place. And so the pledge is a way to flip that for people to share their use of reusables and show what they're doing to make a difference and invite others to take part too. So the power of this campaign is through taking part, through taking action, and how we think we can work best with you, with our global network, is through sharing and amplifying what you're doing. So we really encourage you, whatever you're doing for Plastic Free July, is stay in touch with us. Let us know. Encourage people to actually sign up and take the challenge. We just send out a newsletter once a week in July. We encourage you to invite people to take the Pesky Plastics quiz. Share your stories with us. There's a great page on the website called What Others Do. We're always looking for stories to share there. That's a bit of our longer form story sharing where we kind of really go into case studies of what people did, how they did it, what were the challenges and barriers and how they overcame it, as well as shorter stories that we share in our newsletters and on our social media. So tag us, or there's a form on the website there, or drop us an email. There's a map on the website which anyone can just add your events. If you've got an event that's open to the public, whether that's a workshop, a movie screening, a cleanup, or whatever it is, you can put it in there. And of course, take the plastic-free pledge. Here's just a few photos from around the world. Some of these events were held, from community workshops in New Zealand sharing plastic-free swaps to schools making bags and clean-up beeswax wraps, to local governments holding workshops and markets to engage their community. We saw a growing number of corporates involved, taking the challenge, encouraging their staff to switch to reusables. We saw local governments. This guy on the left is from Portugal. They had a big campaign in their town encouraging people to take reusable bags. In Japan, they were focusing on encouraging people to bring your own cups. And the image in the middle of the bottom there is a number of corporates switch their internal cafes to using innovative reuse schemes. I mentioned before at the end of July, so that last weekend, the 26th and 27th of July, we're really, there's a group in Indonesia, in Jakarta, Diet Plastic Indonesia, who will be hosting for their second year a big plastic-free picnic. We've got lots of resources about plastic-free morning teas. There's some great organisations like the Party Kit Network that's got members around the world in not every country, but that's a great free resource where people can share their kits for anyone to borrow, so you can have a party or a celebration. So at the end of July, we're hoping to finish that celebration with sharing lots of ways people can reuse in their community. As I said, we're working at the moment on translating lots of our resources into other languages through some partnerships there. We've created a plastic-free July calendar with a different idea for each day that people can focus on. I'm just about to hand over to Amy to talk about the plastic free pledge and how we'll be sharing that this year. And the tagline that we use is choose to refuse, because what we're really pushing for is not the switch from single-use plastic to single-use other material types. We're really encouraging reuse. In the state where I live, and our campaign is based, for example, our state government has banned single-use coffee cups that are lined with plastic and have plastic lids. Now, from a litter perspective, so we've switched to compostables. From a litter's perspective, it's better to have a compostable than a plastic. But the problem is we don't have any public place facilities to collect these cups. We don't have any facilities to process them, even though they are certified compostable. So these cups are destined for landfill. So we're really, through this pledge campaign, encouraging people to choose to refuse one single-use plastic item for the month. We've had a lot of success as we've piloted it over the last couple of years, as workplaces have got involved, as government environment ministers have made a pledge, or CEOs of companies have made the pledge. And it's something that is really great to encourage the leadership of an organisation to take part in, but there's also something for everybody to do, and it's a great way to share on social media. So, I'm going to just stop sharing my screen, and I'll just hand over to you, Amy, just to share how the exciting new way that we're going to be sharing that pledge this year.
Okay, sharing okay. Jess, can you just confirm you can see my screen? Thank you. Okay, so we're really excited this year to launch a new pledge platform on our website. Please excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold, so I've got a little bit of a cough, so I'll do my best to suppress it. So the idea behind the pledge platform is to give people a space to share their pledge that they're taking this year, and then to on-share it with others to encourage other people to take it. So we did a little bit of this last year as a pilot, but you had to send us your photos and it was a bit of a clunky process. So this year everyone can do it themselves. It's just gone live this morning. So it looks like it's all working okay, but if we hit any glitches, we'll get them fixed quickly. But I will share as a starter the link, which will be the link going forward. So you've got that in the chat. But basically on this page, people can go and you can download all of our pledge cards for the year. They're just a PDF download. You can download them and print them and write your name in them, and then take a photo holding the pledge card if you want to. If you don't want to do that, you can just simply upload your pledge using one of our pledge skins that we've got. So you just click on the upload pledge, and we're working okay to this point. Click on here and select a photo. I'll put this one in again. And then you can choose whichever digital pledge frame you like. So the item that you're refusing for this year, and hit next. And then we're just collecting a few details. It says full name there, but You just put your first name and email address. I'll just show you this so you see how it all comes together. Okay, select your country. In Australia, we're collecting local governments. That's only for Australia because of our local government members. And I said plastic drink bottles, just whether you participated before, add to the newsletter. And then what you'll do is you will join pledge wall. So your photo will instantly go up there, and then you can download that photo with the frame and share it to your socials. We encourage people to share it to particularly Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, but you can just download it and share it wherever you like. And if you're not sure what to put down with that photo that you share, we've got some little suggestions there for people to use. But look, the idea is really that we can all encourage other people to take part with us and pick that one small step. So the more we can share the pledge, the more people hopefully will take on the challenge and make a step themselves. So we're pretty excited to have that infrastructure in place this year to make it easier for everyone to share and to also show the impact that those pledges are having. I might leave it there, unless there's anything else you'd like me to add, Rebecca. I'll stop sharing.
That looks great, Amy. That was my my first preview of the final product as well. We might have questions in the chat, so perhaps we'll just pause there and just see if anyone has any questions so far on the pledge. If you've got a question, perhaps if you can put your question. We might just take questions on any questions on the pledge first. Did anyone have any questions specifically on that? Okay, I'm going to read it, Amy, and then if you could say it. So someone has asked, when they select other, can they type in what they're choosing to refuse?
You can type in what you're choosing to refuse, but that won't go onto the pledge frame. So there's a pledge frame there that's just, I'm making a pledge this July. So you'd use that generic pledge frame. We just couldn't have an endless number of pledge frames for the items that everybody's refusing, but it will ask you to fill out a field with other so we can record that information.
Okay, great. And some people last year, as you might have seen in some of those images, like they just wrote their own pledge on a piece of cardboard, and people can do it in different ways. Some people got together in a group and held their reusable item. It was really popular in workplaces, and it was, I was in a meeting yesterday and somebody asked the question, how do you, encourage other people to take part in Plastic Free July um, if they're reluctant or skeptical? And so I guess this is kind of our way of providing a positive, something that's positive and easy for somebody to do. So for someone who's new, this is a great way. And when, like, for example, for a workplace, um um if everyone, say, decides that, okay, they're going to avoid, their thing is going to be avoiding single-use cups, when someone does a coffee run for a meeting and is getting takeaway coffees, they can just take the cups. Or, a lot of people last year said to us, oh, we just decided we'd actually all go to the cafe and sit in the cafe and have our meeting instead of, someone having to carry 5 or 6 single-use cups down to the cafe. Someone's just then asked if councils will receive a list from people in their region, what they pledged. So sorry, I can't see the name here. Not sure what council you're from, but so that's for our member councils. They will be provided with that data in the first week of August in terms of um, how many people from their council made the pledge and which items they chose. So part of the so we're really hoping that everyone and people in this webinar will share the pledge widely and encourage people to take part. The evaluation that I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, we do that research in September because rather than doing it at the beginning of August, because we want to make we want to obviously encourage long-term behaviour change, but we don't actually ourselves get those results until November. And so a lot of our member councils, for example, are wanting to know, in August so they can exactly share and report and celebrate those results. We just don't get them through that large scale participant and general population research. So the pledge is a way for us to allow that to happen in much more closer to real time.
Can I just
So
add to that? Sorry, Rebecca.
sure.
That for our member councils, if they're doing a strong campaign to try and get their residents to participate in the pledge, we are going to be able to give them real-time data throughout the campaign as well if they contact us. So it's part of the benefit that they're getting from their becoming a member council with the foundation. So there'll be the report in August, but they can get real-time data if they're trying to work out how their campaign's going.
Yeah, thanks for that, Amy. Sue's asked about. Oh, okay, great. Jess has answered that one. Yeah. So the paid membership program is an annual fee that local governments at the moment they're all in Australia. There's nothing to stop local governments in other countries taking part. Um, um, and so just that data piece is unfortunately just something we can only offer to those paid members. Sorry, I can't see any other questions further back.
Can I just answer one from earlier
Yep.
as well? There was one about will we be able to share a printable copy of the 31 Ideas calendar? And yes, that will be made available so people can print that copy of the calendar out. And there was a question about donations from the Pledge platform. The Pledge platform is forming part of our website, so we can take donations over our website, but it's a very good idea to include a link from that Pledge page to the donations platform of the website too. Sorry, I just saw them come through, Rebecca, so I thought I'd
Great.
go back to those.
I'm not great at talking and reading at the same time, so we just tag team this. Um, just let us know if there's any more questions. One thing I just will talk about in terms of resources. So, this global campaign, 174 million people took part last year. Last year, less than 1% of people are formally connecting with us. We are the Plastic Free Foundation who created this campaign and delivers it is a not-for-profit or a for-purpose, as we prefer to call it. We're a tax-deductible charity based here in Australia, but operating around the world. Like any not-for-profit, funding is always tight. We're a very small team. We only have 5 of us and rely on a lot of pro bono and external support. So we are going. One of the things that we're very fortunate this year to have the West Australian State Government through our State Waste Authority as our principal partner. As Amy mentioned, we've got a number of these paid council members. We are and in the past, but not this year, we've had some philanthropic support as well as corporate partnerships. We are going to be, we want to keep this campaign, and it will always be freely available for individuals, grassroots community groups, schools, and not-for-profits, but we are in the process of introducing a licensing fee for organizations and businesses that are using the brand. So that is something that we'll be putting up in the next week. I mean, we've always asked people not to put our to use any of our logo or brand on selling products, even if they're reusable products, because that's at odds with our whole ethos around, use what you have, reduce what you can. Not to say there's not great products out there. If you need to go purchase some reusable produce bags or coffee cups or whatever that item is. So just wanting to just provide the heads up on that. And in terms of that licensing, we will be having a free community license so that registered not-for-profits and community groups and schools and stuff can continue to use those resources for free. Um, I didn't have anything more to add.
Sorry, Rebecca.
Oh,
Can I
sorry.
answer a couple more questions? Um, was a question about can memberships be obtained by other organisations? Yes, we have a partnerships package, and we also have that licenses one coming up. But if sorry, I'm not sure where you're from, but if you wanted to be able to record your organisation's pledges, and that's why you're asking to get that data, that's something we'd be really happy to talk to you about. And that is one of our business packages that we do have. If you maybe send Jess an email or send one of us an email following the chat, we can have that further conversation about that. And the calendar will be available on the website. We're just catching up with everything going on the website. So if it's not there, it'll be there shortly.
Thanks, Amy. If anyone has made any plans for Plastic Free July, if you have any events planned or activities, we'd love to happy for you to unmute yourself and to share or to pop it into the chat. We'll follow up, as Amy said, with an email. We will be adding it to our YouTube channel and also have the presentation available because all of the links that we've been discussing are hyperlinked there. Never think that there's um, any activity or any initiative or anything that you're doing that is too small. It's amazing to hear, as I said, we've been doing this for 15 years, and to hear from school students, what they have gone on to do. Initiatives. I remember giving a talk a few years ago at a local hospital, and their staff then went on to initiate a campaign to tackle single-use plastic bed pads, and then another neighbouring hospital was tackling excessive use of plastic gloves. There's just so many ways that our actions do speak louder than words. And I think there's just so many ways that what we do can inspire others. And I think we're much stronger together. So we'd really love to stay in touch, to share your stories, share your ideas, and together make a difference. Okay. Oh, there's some great ideas there. I know, Belinda, you were sharing it on your local radio segment in Sydney last year, so I'd love to hear that story there. A waste or an office audit is great. Just doing it, whether it's a full waste audit or a simple looking at what you've got in your bins, in your storage, in your stationery, in your fridge, and then figuring what item it is to tackle. It's so exciting to see all of these ideas. Please pop any events, as I said, any events that you're having on that map. All you need is just to say the date, the time, where it is, and just have a link to a website or a Facebook event or whatever it is. Um, we're going to be launching on the 1st of July in Western Australia. Watch this space on that one. And we're really looking forward to walking this journey with you and together making a difference. So, um, thanks very much. Then please drop us a line if you think of something afterwards, and we'll be sure to share this presentation and all of those links with you. So thanks very much, everyone, and happy Plastic Free July.